can't believe Steve being mentioned.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Here.
Here, just everywhere. Here everywhere.
It's your first big test, okay? Dig it into your pockets. All right. I'm going to say aye, state your name, and you got your name. Okay, raise your right hand. I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
Constitution of the state.
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Streetsboro,
City of Street.
that I will perform the duties of firefighter medic to the City of Streetsboro Fire Department, to which I have been appointed with the best of my ability. God, congratulations.
Oh, yeah, thank
I invited to the break. I should chill.
We're gents.
Thank you, sir.
I hope you enjoy it. You're working for one theory. If you want to stay, you're more than welcome to stay. If you want to leave, we'll give you a few minutes to keep the premises and we'll continue on the meetings.
When did we get into executive session? During finance? Okay.
Oh, I know how it goes. Only if it swears you know. Bring his police.
Yeah, it's very.
Take off. I'm just.
All righty. Susan Lombardo.
Thank you, Mayor. No. She's not. Distinguished guests.
That's one. Chief, I'm sorry. So you want to do it back?
Ready, Caroline?
Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
We got one more thing.
Okay.
Okay. Chief has commendation for Captain Grimm.
All right.
Okay, I won't take hopefully too much of your time, but we had an incident on June 12th that renewed my faith in humanity. Everything going on, people rioting, wars, missiles being fired, and an event occurred June 12th. And when I found out about it, nobody was bragging what they did. It's just part of their job. But I feel compelled to let council and the public who's watching the video what they did, and it involved multiple people. which I'll explain. So I have a little thing written here explaining what transpired on that June 12th, which makes me very proud of our fire department, police department, all those other organizations that were associated with it. And I think you should know what kind of fire department, police department your safety forces provide. So on June 12th, the fire department was alerted of a male behind target on the ground, possibly not breathing. And I was on the squad. Oh boy. Okay, it was the last squad out. That's what I say is, oh boy. Okay. When we arrived, the male was breathing. He was there. And the UPS truck driver called 911. So here's the first character. The UPS truck driver at Target is walking around the parking lot for exercise, and he sees this gentleman down. So he could have easily ignored it and walked away, but he didn't. He went over there, found out the guy was a homeless guy, hasn't eaten for 3 days, is thirsty, has a pet dog. So he brought him water and called 911. So that was the first little humane thing, many to follow, but that's what started the ball rolling. So we got there, the squad, and he refused any treatment or transport. He just got out of the hospital. He was homeless. He was sleeping in the back. There was like a shed there, and he had his dog. And so we gave him water and Gatorade. We gave him a lot, but we couldn't convince him to go to the hospital. We couldn't kidnap him. There was nothing the hospital could do for him. And he was a little lightheaded, but he didn't want to go. So we went back and we felt really guilty. We couldn't do something for this guy. So the person in charge that day was Tony Yash, and he went to Captain Grimm. So here's another player who says, well, I didn't do nothing. Well, yes, you did, Tony. You came to Captain Grimm, who was a mover and shaker. Get things done. So he told us to Captain Grimm that we encountered this gentleman, and Tony encountered him before May 15th. Homeless, fell down on the street and helped him up. Okay? So at the time he was staying in Motel 6. The reason he was back in the back of Target is he ran out of money. He couldn't afford a motel room, Motel 6. So Captain Grimm called Family and Community Services in Ravenna to ask them to help this guy. He was transferred to this lady, Donna. Here's another figure who entered into it. At Housing and Emergency Support Services, they call it HES. Okay. After providing her with some details, she stated she was going to get another person involved from which they can maybe help this person within the hour. So he went back to check on the guy, Captain Grimm did, and he found out that Lowe's had given him some water and some snacks. And Captain Grimm asked him, do you want services? Can we help you? And the gentleman said, yeah, he agreed to help, but his cell phone was dead. So Hess was going to call him. So Captain Grimm charged his cell phone while he was there. Another little step. And all these little steps lead to a big, wonderful outcome. Okay? So he also said that his walker was broke. That's why he fell. And he left it at Motel 6, the last place he was staying before he ran out of money. So Captain Grimm said, okay. He went to Motel 6, got a hold of the walker, and tried to figure out what was wrong with it. Well, it was a bad wheel. So Captain Grimm calls the manufacturer up to try to get replacement parts. And he was bounced from one place to the next place, and he kept going. Okay? And then he was told, or he knew about a place in Rootstown, Sarah. And this was called, what's the name of the place there? Okay, it's like a used medical store.
Access to Independence, I think,
Yes,
maybe.
That's it, thank you. So he called up them, and they go, well, yeah, we have a walker. So Captain Grimm went down there, and he met the lady, Sarah, and it happened that her mother was just passed away, and she brought the walker in. And Captain said, okay, this will be fine, how much? She says, no, pass it on. So here's another act of charity and kindness. All these little acts added up, and I was very impressed. So he came back, he had the walker, he brought it back to the gentleman here, the homeless person, and then they were going to meet with him, Hess. So he called the police department to see if they can go over there, make sure everything is fine. And Bartholomew went over there, make sure everything was fine, and assisted whatever he could with the patient. So Kevin's over there with him, and this guy, one of our firefighters, Ed McCormick, went to Subway and bought him a sandwich. He hasn't eaten in 3 days. So nobody told Ed to do that. So he went to Subway, bought him a sandwich. Then when Kevin came back with the walker, the guy offers him half a sandwich. Here's a guy homeless, without food, without shelter, trying to share. And that just blew my mind. Okay? So they were able to find him a lodging in Econo Lodge down in Rootstown for the night. And we followed up to make sure they were going to get him shelter. And this guy's a veteran. He's a veteran sleeping on the streets. Nothing to eat, nothing to drink. And seemingly nobody cares about him until all these people came together. And each one had a little small input, Captain Grimm having the most, taking the most, to change this guy, to get him some kind of shelter with his dog. And that was the problem because Rodney, his dog, his terrier, he didn't want to leave him. And it's just a remarkable story. So we have an award, a merit award, for going above and beyond the call of duty. And I know, without a doubt, that Captain Grimm went above and beyond the call of duty to help somebody, help a fellow human being that couldn't help himself. So I'd like to present this award to Captain Kevin Grimm.
Come on up, Kevin.
Yeah, I'll get pictures.
Thank you.
I might just conclude, nobody wants recognition. Nobody asked for this. This is your public safety forces going above and beyond every day, maybe not to this extent, but they really care about your community. And this year, I had to bring it to your attention, because you don't know unless I say something. So I felt very compelled and very proud of Kevin and the rest of the guys in the fire department. Every day, what they do above and beyond, and I'm very proud of them.
All right, I think we're ready to rock.
Thank you, Chief. Caroline, you ready?
Perfect. Let's call this regular Finance Committee meeting of Monday, June 23rd, 2025 to order. If we could all please stand for an invocation and a pledge of allegiance of Ms. McDaniel Leader. Invocation of the mayor can lead.
Would you please bow your heads and pray with me? Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you so much, Lord, for your love, for your kindness toward us. And Lord, thank you especially tonight for our safety services here in Streetsboro, for Captain Grimm and all of the players in this story that we just heard. Thank you for showing your love through their actions to this veteran. And I just praise you for that blessing in our city. Lord, I ask tonight for your protection in our nation and the world. I pray for wisdom and guidance for our leaders, Lord. We are in times where we're hearing of wars and rumors of wars. And Lord, we know you're sovereign and your hand is upon the whole world. And we just ask for your protection. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Caroline, can you please call roll?
Mr. Mishnir?
Here.
Mr. Hannon?
Here.
Mr. Regukar? Ms. Wagner? Here. Mrs. McDaniel? Mr. Glenn? I'm sorry, Ms. Glenn? Here. And Mr. Ring?
A text from Mr. Rings earlier. He will not be in attendance. First and second to excuse Mr. Ring. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, he is excused. Item 4, disposition of minutes. The regular Finance Committee meeting of May 19th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Thank you. I have a first and a second to accept as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, those are accepted. Item 5, monthly financial report. Ms. Dulansky, is that the correct pronunciation?
So May's monthly financials include our general fund expenses and expenditures are above budget within 44%. That only includes 38% of actual expenditures, with about 6% in open POs that were allocated for the month of May. And then our general fund revenues and total revenues collected are above target where we should be for the year, about 50% being collected as of May 31st, whereas our target was around 42%. So we're above revenues, and we're right in line with expenses, a little above, but that's because of open POs right now. And comparatively, we are doing better than 2024 regarding those. We were up only about 49% last year in 2024 at this point in time. And for the month of May, our cash went up by $500,000. And then our RETA collections, they will be up in the month of June. They were up $330,000 for due to net profits. So we slightly dipped for May, but then this month we've already corrected that due to net profits. And then our interest, we are staying stable for the year, and we are actually better than anticipated that we budgeted for the year. So we are staying strong in that. And that's the May monthly financial report.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to item 6, old business. There is no items for that. Item 7, new business. Item AT 7783, participate with ODOT to resurface State Route 14 and 43. Call on Mr. Checkeye.
Well, actually, it's me.
Call on the mayor.
But I have a comment.
Oh.
Do you want to describe this project?
We, instead of an amendment to the previous one, we put a replacement in, okay? Because there were substantive changes on the other one, and we got it to you guys last Wednesday if there was any issues, and I haven't heard any back. Some of the highlights were in the first paragraph. It was not inclusive of everything that was happening. The second paragraph, it had a set amount of $2,130,231. I was very concerned about putting an upper limit on that because the project hasn't been bid yet. They will sell the project in January or February, and depending on what the bids come in, that number may go higher or it may go lower. If it does go higher, naturally I'll have to come back to you guys, but I wanted you to be aware that it may be higher, may be lower. We did attach Exhibit A, which shows the actual breakdowns. When we normally do a project, it's usually an 80-20 or 80-10 and 10. Okay. This one, because there was things that we asked for that weren't included in the original funding, we ended up paying more than our normal 20% or 10%, whatever the case may be. And those are all highlighted in Exhibit A. So you can see where the different percentages are and what the breakdown is on how they came up with the amounts. Okay. That's there. Oh, and we also got an additional $200,000 from ODOT because our service department had done preventive maintenance to the 14 corridor and the 43 corridor, and they translated what they had done into a dollar figure, and they gave us ODOT gave us an extra $200,000. So last week when I spoke, I said 2.3, and I forgot that they had given us a $200,000 credit, so it brought it down to 2.1. Section 3, we agree to pay 100% of the cost of any features requested by the city. That's where the difference comes in the 80-20. Okay. Any extra work contracts, this is normal language there. If they come across something, or if we come across something we want change, naturally they'll give us a change order, and we'll decide if the funding is approved at that time. I believe that's the highlight. And Judson, you had something?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring council's attention. There's numbers on there, and the funding breakdown is it's hard to follow. But we did receive $1.55 million from AMATS for this project entirety. So I just wanted to make sure that council was aware that there is just shy of $1.55 million from AMATS, the $200,000 from ODOT. So we went above and beyond stretching our dollars with AMATS and ODOT to get this project going. It's going to be an inconvenience during construction, but it's going to be fantastic when it's done.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Thank you for bringing this back to us. Appreciate it. You touched on section 3. It seemed like the way you said it that there was additional work that the city's requested. Is there additional work, or is that just?
We did have additional work that cost us more. What was that?
Oh, you put me on the spot.
Of course,
I think it was the paving from the square to where we ended.
That's what it was.
On 43.
It wasn't from Market Square to 14 was not part of the original paving, and we asked that to be added. So that was 100% our cost.
Thank you. And then last question I had, and I know you mentioned it, but you don't want to put a set number just in case it comes, say we put not to exceed 2.2 million, it comes at 2.3, right? But
well, yeah, I mean, if we had put in 2.130231 and it came at 2.130235, we'd have to come back to you. Yeah. So I'm going to have to come back to you anyways. This was an estimate, so that gives you guys an idea of where we're at. And if it does come over, I'm going to have to come back to you anyway. But this was more or less just to give you guys an idea of this. It's called an Ellis estimate. Is that what that is?
It's participatory.
Well, when they do the estimate like correct. They did, they plug all this stuff in a computer and it comes up with what they call an Ellis estimate. And they're usually pretty close. And then we fought back and forth with them to get that cost down. And we were able to get the extra $200,000. But I don't want to have to come back and delay this whole thing, for $4 or $5, or it might even be $100,000. I don't know what it's going to be. Okay, but generally as a rule, they are pretty close. And if oil prices don't go up after this weekend, we should be okay.
and final legislation will follow this.
Yes.
This is participatory to let ODOT know that we have the funds in hand, that we can pay for the project, that they can go out and sell it. But there will be another set of legislation coming for this project before it goes.
Yeah, when we accept it, right?
Yes.
So you guys will have, and you'll know the final numbers then. That comes in after the bid.
When do you think it's going to be bid out?
Pardon me?
When do you think it's going to be bid out?
I think they have it scheduled to be bid.
I think it's at least January
1st.
Yeah.
Do you see the price significantly changing? I know there's a lot of factors going on in the world that may change some of that.
With government agencies, you never want to be the lowest bidder. So, it's a big project. I couldn't tell you if the estimate was in line. Sounds good. But, ODOT has an army of people that work for them that should have this pretty tightly buttoned up.
They have a pretty good idea of where the market's going and where the thing is. I suspect it's going to be fairly close. And many times in the past, they have overestimated it because, like Justin says, it does get competitive. And this is a 9-month project, and it would be very worth someone. I think it's a $6.5 million total.
Yes, sir.
So it would be very worth someone to sharpen their pencil a little bit.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions from the City Council? If not, I'll have entertain a motion to move this to tonight's meeting.
I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council meeting.
Thank you. And first and second to move this item to tonight's full council as emergency. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that has been moved. Item B, we have an executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to recess into an executive session to consider two things: part-time firefighter collective bargaining agreement and employment or hiring.
So moved.
Second. First and a second. Caroline, can you please call roll?
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes. Our non-executive session.
Gonna say we can have more space behind our chairs. So our new.
I'll entertain a motion to reconvene from executive session.
So moved.
First and second to reconvene. Steve was first. Lisa was second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are back in. Item D, T7790, approved part-time firefighters, CBA. Ms. Lockhart-Reese.
Hi, this is legislation to approve our part-time firefighter contract for a 3-year period.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Someone want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
I have a first and a second to move this item to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that item has been moved. Item E, D7791, approve internal cyber policy. Mr. Kaufman?
Thank you. So this is basically, it's not just a cyber policy, it is a full out IT policy to govern basically every aspect of the IT department. We've never had, or I shouldn't say never, it's been a long time since we've had an internal IT department, so we didn't have anything really on file for this. So there's some stuff that I've been working with Finance Matt on that the state auditor requires. So I just decided, instead of just piece parting it into the state auditor needs this and we need this, I just put a whole policy and procedures into one to try and get every aspect of my department.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman. Any questions from City Council?
It's a very exciting read, by the way.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, obviously, to put this together and being so thorough. Obviously, a lot of different things can happen, and as you mentioned, your cover letter, IT does touch everything, so
yeah,
I do appreciate you being thorough about that. There's no other questions, though. We can go ahead and get a motion to move this to tonight's council for first reading.
So moved.
First and second to move this to first read tonight. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. That has been moved. And we'll go right back to you, Mr. Kaufman, with item F, D7792 Dell computer purchase.
This is just our standard second half of the year purchase for replacement computers. With Dell's new model, we are getting the laptops at quite a bit cheaper than what we purchased them for at the beginning of the year. We're saving right around $800 a piece as to what we paid at the beginning of the year for basically the same computer. So we are getting a little bit more for our money, which we always like that.
Perfect.
There's no further discussion. I'd like to make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that item has been moved to tonight's council meeting. Item G, T7793 purchase radios for the police department due to the water leak.
Yes, so this is a rather big one. When the water leak happened in March, it unfortunately hit, as you know, the entire server room. So as part of that, the insurance is authorizing us to replace all of our radio equipment. We are recommending that we go with Vasu for the replacements rather than BNC, who was our vendor prior to this. Not only is it much more cost effective to go with Vasu, but the fire department already utilizes Vasu. A lot of the other local departments around us have already made the switch from BNC to Vasu. So we're recommending to just go that route instead of going with BNC and then maybe having to come back in 2 years when we're not going to have insurance money to do this same replacement.
Any questions on that item? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to move to tonight's council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first and second to move to tonight's full council. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that item has been moved. Item H, T7794, purchase call recorder replacement for the police department. Mr. Kaufman.
Sir, so this is pretty much the same. Our call recording solution that we have through a company called Equiture was also water damaged. The insurance will pay for the new call recorder in full, but there is a buyout from our old call recorder. When we originally purchased this about 4 years ago, we did a 5-year lease to own, basically. So this would have been our 5th year coming up. Equiture is authorizing, well, they are giving us almost a 50% discount on our 5th year of our old system since we're purchasing another system from them. So it's a little bit of discount, but still a little bit of money that needs to come out of our pocket in order to get the new one.
Ms. Glenn.
Do we also have to pay the $4,000, or is the insurance covering that for the installation?
The insurance is covering that.
Okay. Thank you.
You got it.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and a second to move to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. That has also been approved. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Kaufman.
you very much.
Item I, T7795, approved purchases of guardrails from MP Dory. Says Mr. Miller, but I'll call on Mr. Shoemaker.
Well, I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Larry wasn't brief before. He was kind of told this morning he'll be here tonight. So, Billy had asked that, he could possibly amend the MP Dory legislation for guardrail repairs to not have a dollar attached, currently $30K. He said that we are already at $17,000 for the year, and we would have to go back to council probably sooner than later if we cap it at 30. The request for additional money would be presented to them through a finance budget amendment. If you're not okay without approving it without a dollar amount, he said $50K is a more realistic amount. Most of the repairs are reimbursed through insurance, but the city pays up front. Small guardrail repairs are $3K, and medium guardrail repairs are $7,000. So, and for some reason, people have a habit of just running into these things all the time. So,
I would say, I appreciate that information. Because Mr. Ring is not here, I'm going to say it for him because I feel like he would say it, but he probably is one of those people that is not okay with just saying no dollar amount. So I think the 50,000 option would be.
We can't have it at no dollar amount.
Right, exactly.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to make it the 50 that he suggested.
We have a first and a second to amend P7795 to reflect 50,000 in the header and section 1.
So moved.
Sorry, I just had a
That's all right.
brain fart for a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that has been amended. And then, someone want to move it?
I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council meeting.
Second.
First and a second to move this to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that has moved. I also think this is, as long as I've been on city council, I don't think I've ever seen Mr. Miller miss a meeting. Okay,
well, that's why we have his worthy assistant.
I feel like
it's always great. In the 12 years prior to Larry being the assistant, Billy just didn't go. And if he went for one or two days, and Larry is pretty well snapped in. He's got a real good handle on the situation, and Billy is actually out of state.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm not. Don't bother him. I'm not going to bother.
I'm sure wherever he's sitting at,
There's a utility pole out in the development. And I texted.
You what?
There's a light out in the development.
You can text me. Go ahead. You can text me.
All right.
I don't doubt though that if you did text him, he would probably have it fixed.
He probably would respond. And it's funny because when he's here, no matter what time of the day or night, if I call him, it might be on the second ring. It's usually on the first ring. He is Johnny on the spot. And Larry is the same way.
This is going to be.
Well, we appreciate being here and glad that Mr. Miller gets to take some well-deserved time off. So. Did we need to update something on that or no?
Nope.
All right, item J, motion to reschedule the September finance and regular council meetings due to expected council member absences. We'll have Ms. Caroline talk about that, please.
At last council meeting, I overheard some conversation that we were going to expect 2 council people to be absent on September 20, whatever that finance meeting night is. And since we can't pass emergency legislation with 2 absences, I thought I'd put it on the agenda for council discussion. If you want to move the meeting when we will have 6 people present on a different date, or what are your options?
What day is it currently set?
September 22nd.
20, would it be 29?
15th and 29th?
Of the 6
Labor Day.
So if it goes later in the month, or?
How many of us here can't be here the 22nd?
Miss Glenn, I think we're absent that night.
There's 2. Okay.
So it's currently on the 15th and the 29th? Or
No, the 8th and the 22nd.
You could, yeah, wherever you want to do it.
why is it on the 8th? I thought it was always the 2nd.
The second Monday and the fourth Monday.
Yeah.
John.
29th is not Labor Day. September 1st is Labor Day. My bad. But you guys can do on the 15th. Give us a nice long break between council.
That's why my calendar wasn't showing the first week of September.
Anybody else got any September holidays, vacations, or anything coming up?
Well, I'm not going to be here on the 15th either, so I thought we were moving it to the 29th. And I don't know about Justin, what he was doing, if he's just gone the 1 week or what.
Yeah, I don't think he mentioned specifically, but if you're certain you're absent on the 15th and we have another work emergency or a health emergency or something, then we could be in the same situation.
Are we, I mean, I'm fine with either day, but can we talk about this at the next meeting, or do we have to set it right now, just in case?
Definitely do it at the first meeting in July. I just wanted it, sooner than later, so everybody would be on the same page and know what to expect and plan ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I'm good with the 29th, so if we want to move it there and Justin can.
If it works for
Even if Justin can't be here, there's 6 of us, so no one else has anything going on.
I thought he was talking about the 29th meeting also. But
So next meeting we can talk about it.
Just to be sure.
That's fine.
To move it.
Well, if you guys are all okay for the 29th, at the next meeting, and Justin's okay for it, then you can make it the 29th.
Yep.
Right.
So consensus is you guys are all okay with the 29th? All right, so when we get to the first meeting in July, if we want the 29th, we just change it then. Okay?
So I need a motion either to move the meeting to the 29th or a motion to put the topic on the next agenda so we can confirm what we want to do.
Motion to put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Second.
First and a second to move this item to our next council meeting or whatever, service meeting on July.
I think it's
the 14th.
14th, you're right.
July 14th. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll talk about that in July. Item K, T7796, amend insurance for additional plow truck. It says Matt Miller. I don't know if she was briefed on that or.
Are you going to speak to this?
I can start, and then if you want to add to it. So Mr. Matt Miller briefed me on it and said that our insurance agent, which we go through the Ohio plan vendor, they have changed their structure a little bit around. And so they're adding things as we make purchases. And so like the splash pad is also going on to the insurance, and then the new plow truck. So he's requesting not to exceed $210,000 to be added into the budget. So then we can obviously come back to you guys to let you know that we make the purchases, but to have your blessing to move forward to get things on the insurance. So then things don't lapse, then we can start utilizing the items.
It's pretty straightforward. Any questions? You have a question, Mr. Annenberg?
That's an extra 210,000 a year?
Correct, for 2025. He mentioned that we will be coming back to council when we have things, but it's just so that we can get it onto the insurance, so then things don't like that we can't not use it and that things aren't covered while, the splash pad, we want to definitely be insured while kids are out there.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council meeting.
Second.
First and second to move this item to the council meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the item has been moved. Item L, T7797, accept amounts and rates. Ms. Linsky?
This is just the yearly ordinance for the county budget commission that they produce the amounts and then we ask for your blessing for the property tax estimates. And they use the same rates that last year that they gave us. So nothing's changed in that sense.
Questions from city council?
Motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and second to move this item. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that item has been moved. Item M, T7798, authorized letters of engagement with the Auditor of State for 2024 audit. Ms. Delinsky.
So we will be starting our audit here in July with the state. We are still using them, not an IPA. And so this is just the annual request where we have to make the expense. The expense that they gave us this year is around $34,000, which is pretty in line with what we were paying in last year's audit.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to move this to tonight's full council meeting.
Second.
First and second to move this item. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that item has been moved. Item N, T7799, amend 2025 annual appropriations number 6. Ms. Delinsky.
So in our budget adjustments for this evening, our annual appropriations, we have the guardrail, some IT items, our health insurance transfers to reimburse the city paid out amounts to all of our employees that we offer the benefit for. We have some overtime adjustments to cover staffing shortages with some of the staffing changes that have been undertaken. And then we also have some capital increases for the right-of-way and for the Christmas lights.
So we're, any questions from city council before I have? Well, I like to see that we're moving some money for some Christmas lights. It's kind of cool. I'm excited to hear about that.
Me too. Good to hear.
That's something we'll discuss at a future meeting, maybe something that we, things we want to purchase, or do you guys have things in mind you can provide us about what you guys want to do with the Christmas lights?
Considering she mostly designed Macedonia one, I think she got some pretty good ideas up her sleeve, so.
Perfect. Well, we're excited to see it. Not excited for winter time, but definitely excited for Christmas lights. Any questions? No questions?
No. I'd like to make a motion to move this to tonight's full council.
Second.
First and second to move this item to tonight's full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that item has been moved. I would like to, before we move on, the citizens' comments, I'd like to add an item.
Do you need a motion?
Yeah. I'm going to entertain a motion to add item O, which is T7800, which I guess we'll shorten it, and appointing and confirming Joseph Grandinetti as the law director.
So moved. Oh, do we do the?
We need to
first do that.
add it first. Yep.
Okay. So moved.
Second.
The first is second to add. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that item has been added, and then
Make a motion to amend the start date to July 4th, 4th at 4:30 PM to the same said legislation.
Can you have that to Caroline, please? I have a first and a second to amend that item. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hear none, that item has been amended. And then if somebody would like to make a motion to move that to tonight's council.
Make a motion to send that to tonight's full count.
Did you have a question, Mary?
Oh, no, I was just going to do that, but Steve beat me to it.
Perfect. All right, so no questions, and we have a motion. The first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that item has been added and moved to our council meeting tonight.
Speaking number at
7,800.
800.
7,800, yep.
Yep. All right, item 8, citizens' comments. We have no citizens' comments. And item 9, announcements. A regular council meeting will immediately follow this.
Adjourn.
A first and a second to adjourn. First by Steve, second by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Hey.
So this becomes.
(25-773).
I'm sorry?
This will be 25-773.
Dash 75, yeah.
75.
Dash 75, yeah.
What number is it for this one?
The ordinance becomes.
Oh, 25-7. Okay. All right. I'd like to call this regular council meeting of Monday, June 23rd, 2025 to order. Caroline, would you please call roll?
Mr. Mishnak.
Here.
Mr. Hannon.
Here.
Mr. Lombardo.
Here.
Ms. Wagner. Here. Ms. McDaniel. Ms. Glenn.
Here.
Mr. Ring.
Make a motion to excuse Mr. Ring.
Second.
First and a second to excuse Mr. Ring. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, Mr. Ring will be excused. Item 3, disposition of minutes, public hearing of June 9th, 2025, tax budget, and regular council meeting of June 9th, 2025.
Motion to accept as presented.
A motion and a second to accept as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. 4, citizens' comments. No comments? Okay. No comments from the citizens. 5, reports, communications from departments, boards, and commissions. Chief Reynolds.
Thank you. We hired 2 part-timers tonight. They'll be starting training this week. We had one of our full-timers leave us, so we've gone through the process with HR, civil service. We hope to hire a full-timer, hopefully July 5th, but we'll see. We're understaffed one shift. We've been busy. The rains and all the storms that came in last week, we were running like crazy, and now we got more heat emergencies happening. So we've been busy. We went to Stowe for a fire earlier in the week or something like that, our squad. So the weather's keeping us busy. Just as long as we don't get any snowstorms, I'll take the rain. The heat can be bad, though. We don't want any fires now. It's too hot. That's all I have.
I couldn't imagine.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Wayne, Division of Police.
Wow. Sounds official.
I'll be honest with you, I just got back in the country over the weekend. This is the first time that I have had 0 work access while I was out of the country. So I know they were really busy with a lot of different things, fatal. Still waiting to hear if that was medical versus actual crash related death. over by Chipotle, which is possibly weather related. That retention pond's usually empty. In this particular case, it was not empty. The car was submerged. It was inverted and it was submerged up to the windows were covered with water. Lieutenant Beaver is looking into that. I intend to have him look a little bit deeper. We had some civilians go above and beyond in that particular case. And again, it's something I just became aware of earlier today. They had to lift that car to get the door open, to get the driver out. Unfortunately, he was partially underwater as well. Don't know that we have names, but we will definitely be trying to find them, because that was to be mid-thigh deep in swamp ick for somebody that you've never seen before, don't know. We had 2 officers lifting up that car, as well as some good Samaritans. So the fire chief was talking about people restoring your faith in humanity. I'm pretty impressed to have all those people jump in and try and help and actually lift that car out of that stuff. So it was an unfortunate ending, but
you know which direction the car was traveling?
From what it appears, it looks like it came in off of the 14 area, and I'm again only going with the
It wasn't in Chipotle. It wasn't in the parking lot.
It does not appear. Looking at the sign and the grass is laid down, looks like it came in maybe on its side or slid into the muck upside down, just the grass.
I think it went airborne, because one of our guys on the crash team said it went airborne and then kind of went up and down in it. And there happened to be, like she said, water with all the rains.
Yeah, which normally kind of helps a big cushion rather than landing it like a concrete or something like that. But in this particular case, I'm going to go way out on them and say it's potentially medical, just because it's such a weird kind of way for the crash to happen. But again, we'll have to wait and see about that. But the big takeaway is civilians just jumping into thigh-high ick. And a lot of times I've seen people just walk by. I'm sure you've seen it as well. They just keep going when stuff happens. So other than that, I'd love to say it's great to be back, but 2 days ago I was on a beach in Anguilla, and that was amazing. And
Mr. Coffin, anything to report? Ms. Lockhart-Reese? Ms. Edgar, is that correct? Yes. All right. Anything to report in Parks and Rec?
We are finishing up at Floyd North. The electrical company was out there last week, so we're just waiting on a connection, but the meter is up, so that should be finished up here soon. Our crews got out to clear out Thomas Heritage. We had a lot of trouble getting into there early on in the season just because it had been so wet and so mucky. So the guys took up the brush hog, cleared it all out, went over and mowed it again, so it's looking nice up there. You can access the pond again. We are working through some interviews for the clerk position. Hopefully within the next couple weeks, have an offer out. And shred day that we had on June 7th yielded 6,700 pounds. So it was a very successful event. That's it.
All right, thank you. Mr. O'Malia, anything to report from the Economic Development Department?
Push the buttons.
Dr. Shane. We are pursuing a contract with a company that, if we successfully implement it, will save the city hundreds of thousands of dollars on installation of infrastructure, and will have a direct benefit to some of our citizens, and hopefully more on that to come.
All right, thank you. Mr. Chesnowski.
I have nothing new to report. I have mentioned at the last few meetings, working diligently on various text amendments. The next one that will be presented to the Planning Commission are the solar regulations, so that we have something in place prior to the moratorium lapsing. So that should be presented to the Planning Commission at the next at the July 8th meeting, and then it will be here to council for their consideration at the first meeting thereafter.
All right, thank you. Mr. Checkeye, anything from the engineering?
I don't want to steal any of the mayor's thunder about City Hall, so he'll update you on that. And just a couple projects trying to get out the bid and managing some construction. So more updates to come.
All right, thank you, Mr. Schumacher. Maker.
As you know, we've been doing a lot of patching this year. We've definitely been behind on the roads. So we have crews out doing that. And then with all the storms that we have crews out chipping again, making a second round in that, and then trying to get back to crack sealing to maintain what we have, keeping track of that. So when we go out on 43 and stuff like that, and 14, we have all that for bid later.
All right, thank you. Ms. Delansky.
Thank you. So as mentioned before, we're going to be starting our audit season here with the state coming up. That usually lasts 3 to 6 months. So we'll be working on that the next 3 to 6 months. And then our internship program is already half over for the summer, which is hard to believe. And that's going well. And then we're working on some systems projects with our payroll system, trying to improve processes. So never a dull moment in finance.
All right, thank you. Item 6, introduction of legislation containing statement of emergency. T7783, participate with ODOT to resurface State Route 14 and State Route 43. Caroline, would you please read by title?
We're going to suspend the rules.
Yes. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules for T7783, T7799, T7790, T7792, T7793, T7794, T7795, T7796, T7797, T7798, and T7800.
Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to suspend the rules. Caroline, would you please call roll?
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Oops, you should be last. Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Motion passed for suspending the rules. T7783, participate with ODOT to resurface State Route 14 and State Route 43. Caroline, would you please read by title?
Okay, I'll read by title, but at the committee meeting, the mayor just talked about the changes, but we didn't actually adopt this replacement ordinance, so I think we'll need a motion to do that before we do the motion to adopt. But let me go ahead and read by title. This is a replacement ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement pursuant to section 5521.01 of the Ohio Revised Code with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the total project as described in PID number 105213, knowing that the ODOT estimated city share is $2,130,231, and the understanding that when the project is sold, the city share may increase or decrease, and declaring an emergency in order to immediately implement the agreement.
Okay, so we need a motion to amend that.
To do the replacement, yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to amend the legislation by adding the additional recommended changes from the mayor's office.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
I'll just do roll call.
Caroline, would you please call roll?
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Okay, now we need a motion to adopt as amended.
All right.
Motion to adopt the legislation as amended.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the legislation as amended.
Okay, Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. Okay, so the T7783 now becomes 25-75?
Yes.
Okay. T7799, amend 2025 annual appropriations number 6. Caroline, would you please read by
An
title?
ordinance amending ordinance number 2024-164, the 2025 annual appropriation ordinance number 6.
Motion to adopt the legislation.
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt the legislation. Caroline, would you please call roll?
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T7799 passes and now becomes 25-76. T7792, Dell computer purchase.
We skipped 9-0.
9-0, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. T7790, approved part-time firefighter CBA. Caroline, please read by title.
An ordinance accepting a proposed collective bargaining agreement with the Streetsboro Part-Time Firefighters Organization effective January 1, 2025, authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement and declaring an emergency in order to implement the agreement at the earliest possible date.
I'll make a motion to adopt the legislation.
A motion and a second to approve the legislation. Caroline, please call roll.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel? Mr. Hannan?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T7790 passes and becomes 25-77. T7792, Dell computer purchase. Caroline, would you please read by title?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract without competitive bidding with Dell Inc. for the purchase of Dell computers and related accessories for various city departments in an amount not to exceed $29,022.84 and declaring an emergency in order to respond to a time-sensitive proposal.
Move to adopt the legislation.
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt the legislation. Please call roll.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Mr. Hannan?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T7792 passes and becomes 25-78. T7793, purchase radios for PD due to water leak. Mr. Kaufman, go ahead.
I noticed one thing on this. I don't know if it matters, but in section 1 of the ordinance, we had put the proposal number in there. The proposal number is actually different than the one that is included. Should we update that before we adopt? I don't know if it matters. I wanted to ask before you vote on it. The actual proposal number that was included was 2030-00119. And in the ordinance, it has a different one.
And the one that you just read ending in 119 is the dollar numbers that we're wanting council to approve?
The dollar number is correct. It was just the proposal number that's in section 1. It's incorrect in the ordinance as to what the actual proposal number was.
Can you point me what page the correct number's on?
The second page of the exhibit.
Yeah, it's at the Vasu Communications quotation 2030.
I'll make a motion to change section 1 of this legislation where it currently reads 2010-12952 and replacing that with the number 2030-00119.
We have a motion and a second to change
the proposal number.
A proposal number. Caroline, please call roll.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel? Yes. Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannan?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes.
Make a motion to adopt the legislation as amended. Thank you, Mr. Call.
A motion and a second to adopt as amended. Roll call, please. Thank you.
Mr. Mishniak?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel? Yes. Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannan?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. Okay, we're ready for 7793.
7793, yep.
All right.
2025-79.
Okay. T7794, purchase call recorder replacement for PD.
7794 is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract without competitive bidding with Equiture Inc. for purchase of a call recording server and related accessories for the police department in an amount not to exceed $47,508 and declaring an emergency in order to respond to a time-sensitive proposal.
Motion to adopt the legislation.
Second.
A motion to adopt the legislation in a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mishnak?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T7794 now becomes 25-80. T7795, approved purchases of guardrails from MP Dory.
As amended.
As
This
amended.
is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract without competitive bidding with MP Dory Company for the purchase of the city's annual requirements for emergency repairs to the city's guardrails during 2025, an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Make a motion to adopt the legislation as amended by Mr. Miller's recommendation.
A motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mishnak?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. Ordinance T7795 passes and becomes 25-81. T7796, amend insurance for additional plow truck.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor or finance director to pay insurance premiums for 2025 in amount not to exceed $210,000 and declaring an emergency in order to authorize said payments as soon as possible.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt the legislation.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Mishnak?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T7796 passes and now becomes 25-82. T7797, accept amounts and rates.
This is a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Motion to adopt the legislation.
Motion and a second to adopt the legislation. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mishnak?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T7797 passes and becomes 25-83. T7798, authorize letters of engagement with Auditor of State for 2024 audit.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a letter of engagement with the Auditor of State to perform the audit for 2024 and declaring an emergency to expedite the process.
Motion to adopt the legislation.
Motion and a second to adopt the legislation. Please call roll.
Mr. Mishnak?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel? Mr. Hannon?
Yes.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. T7798 passes and becomes 25-84. T7800, ordinance appointing and confirming Joseph Granadati as law director. Thank you. I'll get it, don't worry.
Eventually.
It's close.
Okay, this is an ordinance appointing and confirming Joseph Grandinetti as law director for the city of Streetsboro effective July 4, 2025, pursuant to Article 9 of the city charter and declaring an emergency to expedite the matter.
Motion to adopt the legislation.
I have a question.
Mr. Hannon.
Did she say that correctly?
She said July 4th, and we said 4:30, but I don't think it matters. You got to pay him
She
for the
said
whole
July
day.
5th.
No, she said 4. I heard her say
I
4.
thought I heard 5th. Sorry.
She just didn't say it 4:30, but it doesn't matter, right?
I think you will.
Well, that's just the title is a July 4. I got the 4:30 in the body of the.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference, I don't think.
I'm sorry. I just thought I heard you say July 5th.
Sorry, I know I can't talk right yet. I'm working on it.
There you go, John.
Yeah, nice.
I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah, we need him on the 4th, apparently. All right, I have a first from Mr. Mishnak, who's second. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, we have a first and a second.
Yes. So, motion to adopt, Mr. Mishnak.
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel.
Yes.
Ms. Wagner.
Yes.
Ms. Glenn.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Lombardo.
Yes. Ordinance T7800 passes, becomes 25-85.
Thank you, guys. And girls.
Great.
All right, first reading. T7791, approve internal cyber policy.
This is an ordinance adopting the City of Streetsboro, Ohio Comprehensive Information Technology Policies, Procedures, and Standards Handbook.
Thank you. Second reading, there is none. Third reading. T7777, adopt 2026 tax budget.
This is already written as emergency, so it is an ordinance adopting a tax budget for the City of Streetsboro for fiscal year 2026 and declaring an emergency to meet the Portage County Budget Commission submission deadline.
Motion to adopt the legislation.
Second.
We have a motion to adopt in a second. Caroline, please call roll.
Mr. Mishner?
Yes.
Mr. Hannan?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel? Ms. Wagner? Yes. Mr. Lombardo?
Yes. Ordinance T7777 passes, and because 25-86.
I think we're good.
Mayor's report, item 10.
Thank you, Mr. Lombardo. Just a couple things. For those of you that aren't on social media, I attended the last update for the 43 project. They will be substantially complete as of Monday the 30th. There are some punch list items that are included in substantial completion that they'll be getting after. But Thursday night, they will be doing night paving from 7P to 5A at the Frost Road and 43 intersection. And then Friday and Saturday, they will be doing the driveways, some of the driveways. As part of our policy, when we do road like that, we will normally repair or pave up to an improved driveway. Okay, so if they had asphalt driveway and it didn't come all the way down to the road, from where we put the sidewalks in and a new thing, we complete that. So there's about a half dozen of them. And there's a couple other driveways that they have to check the slope on. There is a couple catch basins where they have to shave them down so that it drains properly. You know, just a lot of minor things. If you notice, the grass is really coming in. All this rain has done something good. And then they will be, after Monday, they will be substantially complete, and it just will be the punch list items, and it'll be out the Hooskow, and we'll be done with major projects until the spring of next year, which should be the treat of all treats. So we'll go from there. And as Justin said, they're making very good progress on City Hall. They since we took the tour there, they have put all the windows in, or most of the windows in. They're going to be starting to do drywall pretty soon. They're doing some more of the brickwork on the outside. They are making really great progress. And again, the meeting that we had last Wednesday says our probable move-in date is, I told them I didn't want to move Christmas week or anything like that, so we pushed it back, gave them a little bit of time. Our probable move-in date is probably going to be around January 9th, somewhere in that area. And Missy's looking into getting Andrews scheduled to get him out of here and get everything moved over, and we should be ready to rock when we get over there.
2 men in a truck?
Pardon me?
2 men in a truck?
No, it's not going to be 2 men in a truck. It's usually about 12 men in 3 trucks, right? Yeah, it's a pretty good haul. So, and I would not want to be someone working outside for the next 3 days. It is just absolutely brutal out there. So if you see someone and you have a thing of water, offer them up some water. Service bars out there today. We had a little bit of a storm last week, and we did schedule a brush pickup, and they'll be out for the next 3 days.
Probably the rest of the week. There's quite a bit of brush out there, so the storm got us pretty good.
So one of those unscheduled things. But other than that, that's about it. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Mayor. President of Council's comments? He does not have any, so we'll go to Ms. Glenn.
Took my first trip down the newly paved State Road 43 on my way here. Haven't been down it since they got started. Took the mayor's advice and stayed away. I have to say that looks fantastic. I know it's not quite finished, but wow, it looks really good. Very smooth, nice ride.
They did. They really did. And they really did a really great job on leveling the intermediate course and things like that to make it even smoother. I was very pleased with it. And if you notice, there was no seams from Frost Road to Market Square, which was one of the big things we asked for. We went all done one continuous thing. It seems to me that whenever you have a seam somewhere, that's the first place it fails. So it'll fail Market Square and 43.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Mishniak, I know you have a lot to say.
I was going to give my comments to the acting president of council tonight, in case he made a mistake when he said he had nothing. I have nothing.
Mr. Hannon?
I'm good.
Mr. Hannon? McDaniel?
Happy July 4th, everybody.
Yeah.
Go Americans.
I have nothing. Stay cool. Oh, I got it. 13 announcements. City Hall will be closed on Friday, July 4th, 2025 for Independence Day. There'll be a safety committee, a service committee, and a regular council meeting on Monday, July 14th, 2025, starting at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. 14, motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That's my birthday week. I expect a cake. July 19th. I'm so happy.
Expect a cake.
That's Sunday. That's right.